My first question is, what is the difference about this version of Queer as Folk from the original version?
Well, I don't think any of these characters would have been in the original. I don't think Finn and I would have JOBs if this was the original. So I think that alone sort of proves its need to exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the original version was focused on a very specific subset of the queer community, and it isn't representative of where we're at now. In 2022, the queer community is expansive and loud and proud, and I think it's definitely worth updating the legacy of Queer as Folk with a more diverse array of queerness.
Finn, Mingus begins to feel attracted to Brody, and they even have sex at the disco, but the shooting changed everything. How will the relationship develop from this event?
It's a complicated relationship because, there's the innocent attraction that you see in the beginning, but it almost immediately gets sort of tainted by this traumatic experience. And for Mingus, that becomes this trauma bonding where they become infatuated with Brody, and Brody wants nothing to do with them because they represent pain and they represent mistake, So it's a complicated dynamic, and I think they are just trying to figure out the best way to care for one another. And it's complicated and messy and painful and sexy and confusing, and they go on quite a roller coaster together.
In your case, Ryan, Julian confesses that he is gay. Is he going to feel comfortable when he enters the LGBT community alongside Brody?
Well, they're very different. They've got very different experiences with the LGBT community. I mean, Julian has been out for the last 2 years, so Brody didn't know he was gay, but Julian has not been hiding his sexuality. But I think Julian lives a very regimented life. I think he's very routine. He's all about structure, and so I think his life in a lot of ways is small. And I think this season is about him cracking that life open and going out of his comfort zone in terms of his queerness, for sure.
Finn, Mingus represents a non-normative gay man in his adolescence. How do you think this character can help those young people who don't dare to be themselves and step out to the norm?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about that is Mingus is also, I feel like Mingus was always comfortable with their sexuality, and where we pick up with the show is them starting to explore their gender identity as well. And I think that's a really beautiful thing to see in a character in their adolescence, to be so free and exploratory with their queerness. And I think that's an accurate representation of queer youth nowadays. There's a lot of exploring, and I see so much encouragement and support of that, like on the internet. So it makes a lot of sense that a character like Mingus would be in this show. And I think a lot of young queer folks are going to feel seen in a new way for the first time. And I'm really excited about that because I relate to Mingus, and they're probably one of the first characters that I really feel like looks and feels like me. Obviously, I'm playing that character, so it looks like me, but I'm more than that, just like the identity and self-expression, etc.
Ryan, what has it been like working with Kim Cattrall?
Absolute heaven on gay earth. Kim is iconic. I mean, anyone who's read a current interview with her knows that she is so dry, so smart, so funny. It felt like such an honor. I mean, she looms large over my adolescence. Sex and the City was huge for me. Samantha Jones in particular was the best character, let's not lie. So getting to play her son, it truly felt insane, but also so right.
And finally, guys, we are seeing more and more representation in shows, but there's still a long way to go, right?
Yeah, and this show is, I feel like, gonna help a lot of other queer shows get made, which I'm thrilled about. You know, it's really pushing the needle for queer representation, and I'm so proud of our team and this network for doing that. And I feel like it sets the precedent for queer folks being cast in queer characters, being able to tell their own stories, and introducing the world of media to new versions of queerness that I think are interesting and entertaining and can carry many, many, many TV shows and films. So I hope there's much more of that because of this show.
So that's all. Ryan, Finn, thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you. Yeah, it was great talking to you, Fernando.